Hello and welcome to June's Linkability webinar, where today we're talking about LinkedIn company pages. Now, it's been a while since we've talked about this, so it is my pleasure to welcome back to Linkability webinars the wonderful Michelle Raymond, the queen of company pages. Hi, Michelle.
And I must say that you appointed me that title. It wasn't self-appointed. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us again today. Company pages is the up and up on LinkedIn. And last year, Michelle and I co-authored this fabulous book, Business Gold. And it is subtitled Build Awareness, Authority and Advantage with LinkedIn Company Pages. And just quietly, it's a bestseller. And you can buy your copy on Amazon. We are thrilled to be back in front of you today talking more about company pages. Now, first, though, let me just tell you a little bit about Michelle. She is also a member of the Small Business Advisory Council to the LinkedIn Pages team. Now, this means that she has a lot of input into the planning of pages and the new features and functions. So she hears a lot of things about pages before the rest of us do. So she knows ahead of time what's going on, and I urge you, if you are not yet connected to Michelle or follow her on LinkedIn, take a moment now to make sure that you do. Her company is called Good Trading Co, and Michelle is constantly putting up great content about pages, and just quietly I learn a lot from what she puts up there about pages. So before we get into pages today, I've got a couple of things I want to share with you, which I found yesterday on LinkedIn. And the first is that there are now 830 million members of LinkedIn. That's 10 million more in just 3 months, which is a huge increase. And I just think that that's amazing. Now, what's more important and pertinent to us today, Michelle, is that 58 million organizations use pages every single day to engage their communities. Yes. And on top of that, 28 million members of LinkedIn have subscribed to newsletters, and they've only been out a few months. So I think that's an amazing number too. I want to share a quote with you from LinkedIn. We are continuously investing in tools to drive discoverability of your brand's content and help define your brand. And that's why we're here today to talk about 6 aspects of LinkedIn company pages. And they are why you need one, how it helps your business, the key elements of a page, how to build a following, very important, how to post impactful content, and new features you might not yet have caught up with. And of course, Michelle is ahead of the curve on those. At the end, provided we've not talked too long, there'll be time for questions. So I encourage you to put those into the comments, and we'll get to those right at the end of our presentation. So, Michelle, great to have you back. Why should every company have a company page?
Look, I'm going to throw one stat out there as well to add on to those great ones that you just shared. 1.5 billion interactions a month with company pages. 1.5 billion.
Run that again. 1.5 billion. That's astonishing.
Yeah. So wrap your mind around that. 58 million pages getting 1.5 billion interactions every month on LinkedIn. So for those out there that say company pages are a waste of time, I'm not so sure I agree with that, but you know, that's why I'm here, right?
Absolutely.
So everybody needs one. Yeah.
Everybody needs one.
Yeah. The simple answer is every business owner needs a LinkedIn company page. Now, I don't care whether you're a solopreneur or a multinational or anywhere in between, a page will work for your business. Now, there are those that will then say, but I don't get reach. I don't get the same engagement as on my personal profile. And I'm going to ask everyone for the next, what have we got? Almost 45 minutes. I want you to suspend that and listen into what Lynnaire and I share with an open mind and think, why are these two crazies? Why do they keep banging on about company pages all the time? Why do they see value? So I'm asking you, when we say that they're worth your time, no matter the size of your business, listen in, because I'm going to share all the best tips that I can help you amplify your personal brand with your company page. So yeah, we've got so much to share.
We have got so much to share. So the answer to the question is, of who should have a company page is every single business. Yeah. Okay, great. Easily enough to be said. But how does it help your business, Michelle? So tell me how it's helped you personally in your business, and then I'm going to share how it's helped me in mine.
Look, for me personally, I've used Good Trading Co. company page to amplify Michelle J. Raymond and vice versa. So it's very difficult on LinkedIn to find out exactly how big a company is based on the content and their page. And the reason is if you have to go looking for the number of employees. So whether I'm Michelle J. Raymond, solopreneur, for the most part up until recently, or I'm Unilever or Amazon, who has 25 million company page followers, we get the same banner space, we get the same headline, we get the same content. It's an even playing field. So for me personally, I've been able to build up a business brand that supported me and my personal brand. So I'm all about the synergy between the two. So I'm not here to say, ignore your personal brand, ignore your personal profile. No, quite the opposite. I'm saying, hey, come over here because I've found a way that you can use the page to build it up. And so quite often when people reach out, they have an expectation of how big my business is. And it just has given me so much more credibility. And, I've got two opportunities to put content out. There's my company puts content out and I put content out. So I'm everywhere. People often say, Michelle,
yeah.
Michelle, you're everywhere. How do you do it? And so that's what I want. Top of mind. First choice, only choice. That's what I'm here to help people with. So how about you, Lynnaire? How does it work?
Well, I've got two company pages, one under Linkability, which I set up for my book. So that's largely around my book and my membership site. So on that, I share a lot of general tips about using LinkedIn. And I have a second one under my business name, which is Word Wizard, in which we talk about content. So I've got two extra streams of content because when I'm posting content on my profile, I tend to do very narrowly talk about new features, what's new and new ways of using things on LinkedIn. So that gives me three distinct ways or three distinct audiences, if you like, for different kinds of content. Now, my Linkability page is doing really well because we are really highly active on that and we work really hard to build the profile of that and the follower number. The content page, a little less so because I'm finding it, I must confess, difficult to pay as much attention to the Word Wizard one as I do to the Linkability one. So my learning from that, Michelle, is that maybe there's not a lot of point in having two company pages. Maybe I would have been better to concentrate on one. Do you think?
Look, I'm with you. I think I'm up to about 5 company pages for me personally. So here's how I work it. And there's a couple of reasons. So Good Trading Co. is my page, right? So that's what my business runs through. We set up one for Business Gold because exactly. So you've got that one as well. So why did we set up a company page? Because we both needed to be page administrators and have control. And if I just set it up as a showcase page and vice versa, Lynnaire could have done the same, we would have lost that, momentum that comes from having everything in one place. It would have been diluted. I have another company page that I run with Michelle Griffin, which is for the LinkedIn branding show. So another joint project where we both want to be administrators and not have the fuss of, I don't want her logging in, pretending to me. I don't want to get kicked into LinkedIn jail and vice versa. And I also have 2 more. And the last 2 are for my podcast. So every week when I do my podcast, I upload an audiogram or the episode show notes and I put it all over there. So if I want to send someone to a particular episode, instead of going, look, go off onto, one of my podcast platforms, which I have no control over. I'm still wrapping my head around it, but I can send them to the company page and I can see the interactions and it becomes social. So, and the other thing that you and I do is we tag our company page at Business Gold whenever we're talking about the book. So again, we're just bringing things to top of mind, and those curious people that click on it will find a whole ton of information over on the page.
So what you're saying here, and I think this is really important, is that it's having a company page is ideal for collaboration, right? So you and I have a company page, which I didn't mention, and also you have one with Michelle Griffin. And so whenever people are collaborating on something together in the longer term, of course, then that makes it a good idea to have a company page because then you can amplify the message through that. So that's another reason why having a company page is a good idea. Now, I like the idea of having events from company company pages, and this webinar is on my Linkability company page, because there's so much more coming. There's audio and all kinds of exciting things. But do you think that events are a really important use of company pages too?
Oh, 1,000%. One of my favorite features on the company page is the event and the video tab, and especially for LinkedIn Lives. Everybody knows I love LinkedIn Lives. I love guesting on great shows like this. I love running my own show, because after I've finished, it sits on that video tab and then it's there forever. It's my own LinkedIn, YouTube kind of channel. And so the longevity of content, this is what I'm looking at this year. How do you make content last? Here's what happens when I, guest on people who run through their personal profile. I get a last minute invitation because they don't want to set up the event too early, because it drops down the feed and it disappears. But then I can't promote early because I don't have a link. And so I think, you get the advantage. Yes, you've got more followers, but if you go over to your company page, you can invite all of your first degree connections to the events that you run through your company page. So there's no loss there. Yes, it takes a bit of extra work. You have to invite people, but it's so successful and lasts forever. And I know you've, jumped onto that one as well. And I just think that it's brilliant for longevity, and we put so much effort into these things, you've got great intros, you've got all of these banners, we give so much value. Why do you want it to disappear down the feed? So that's my thoughts.
No, I agree. And I always find them, they're difficult to find on people's profiles. I was looking for one the other day and I simply just couldn't find it anywhere. I had no idea where it was. So I like the fact that, they're in one place on your company page. Not quite as easy to get to perhaps as a newsletter, which of course has its own URL. The events page doesn't have its own URL, does it? Am I right about that? That's a shame if that's the case.
I don't think the page does, but each event does. So individually, but I would have to go back and check on the actual page. But each event, each event, yes, but each the actual overarching page, no. And I hope that they change that, because I plan my events 3 months out in advance. So you might come onto my page, and I treat my page, it's like the Good Trading Co library of company page info. You might stumble onto the events tab, and you are going to see that my events for the next few months. And so you might have been invited to one, and then look and go, oh, actually, I want to go to this one and this one as well. And again, searchability, visibility, all those kind of fun things that businesses need on the platform. This is how you can use your company page differently to your personal page. And, again, synergy between the two.
I recently did an exercise and an article actually around how CEOs, this is New Zealand CEOs, are using LinkedIn and plot spoiler, poorly, because there were LinkedIn came up with a list of the 25 best companies to work at. They had a whole bunch of criteria. I was really surprised at how poor the profiles of the CEOs were of these top 25 companies. And I had a look at their company pages, great company pages. All of the company pages were excellent, but just the CEOs who weren't particularly great. But what I did notice, Michelle, was that there wasn't much engagement from team members, from the staff. Now, these were company pages of organizations that have thousands of staff members, but still not many people engaging on their pages. And so it strikes me that there is growth in this area for companies who want to be able to attract the right people, the right staff, and to be able to develop their staff and to allow them a voice, either on the company page or individually, then amplify back to the company page, in order to make the company appear to be a great place to work. We're in the middle of a very difficult situation in terms of recruitment, and it's hard to get good people. So any edge that you can get over your competition in attracting the right people has surely got to be a good thing. But I don't see people doing that.
Yeah, you're right. And I literally wrote an article just this week on the 100 of the most followed company pages. So I did a list.
Great article, by the way.
Yeah, and it was really interesting. Same thing. These pages have anything from 25 million to 1 million, followers. So huge, massive opportunity, ones that just blow my mind. I'm like, oh, I've got 2,000 followers, but at the same time, I'm very happy with my 2,000 followers. I know who they are and I know that they're interested in my topic. But like you, I think there's so much unrealized potential in pages. And my conversations with a lot of marketing teams is that they have these really great integrated marketings where they've got campaigns and they run Twitter or Facebook ads or, Google ads. And then there's this like little line called LinkedIn on the spreadsheet that no one knows what to do with it. They're like, we know everyone that we want over there, but how the hell do we work this thing?
Which I think is a shame. So what we're really saying here, I think, is that companies need to upskill themselves and their teams about LinkedIn. And I'd also argue that LinkedIn needs to be led from the top so that those CEOs do need to be active. They need to have really good profiles. They need to be representing their companies well, Michelle. And in general, I don't think that they are. And I was interested to see that a colleague of ours, Mick Adam from Belgium, did the same exercise. He looked at the top 25 companies from Belgium that were in the LinkedIn list, and he found exactly the same as I did, that the CEOs were underperforming when it came to LinkedIn. So I think that it's a shame on a number of different levels. So let's hope that between us, you and I can persuade companies and CEOs that LinkedIn is the place to be. Now, I want to move on to the key elements of a page. Now, I phrased it as what are the key elements of a page. So could you just take us through the things that are the absolute, you've got to have this or else you may as well not bother?
Yeah. And if you're listening to this, why would you bother? Because LinkedIn have told us you get on average 30% extra weekly views if your page is set up properly, 100% complete. So if you set your page up a while back and then ignored it for a little while, this is your reminder to go back and have another look and say, is it really the best reflection of my business? Now, here's what I would say, the holy triangle. So just like on your personal profile, we need a banner that rocks. It is your billboard for your business. So let's make sure that you capture attention, capture your brand essence, really make it stand out, because it is the one thing that captures, the eye when you go to a company page. So of course, that's a no-brainer, very similar to the personal profile. Same as the personal profile, let's go down to the company page taglines, call to headline over on your personal profile. Let's get a bit creative here. It doesn't have to just be boring. Company pages can have some personality. The platform's changed, pages have changed. They don't have to be like corporate speak, and boring. So, what is it that you want to attract? Who is it that you want to attract? And what will capture attention? Same as what we're doing everywhere on LinkedIn, capturing attention. And then thirdly, we're going to go down to the about section. So put some effort, like you get out of your page, it's based on what love you put into it. So if it's not working, it's not the page's fault. It's typically that we kind of treat it like, yeah, I'll get to it later. So about sections should be really clear about who you serve, what you do, what's the transformation. And I think that's the thing I'm going to go back and rewrite mine again. I don't know. Is anyone else out there compulsively changing their about section and headline all the time? It can't be just me, right? But yeah, like go back and go, if I work with your business, what's the transformation? Because that's what people are searching for. They know that you've got that knowledge, but like what happens after I work with you? So the more that you sell that dream, the more returns that you get. So anything else that you would add, Lynnaire?
Well, I will tell you what I would like to see on company pages, Michelle. And you can either go, can't say anything, or, oh, that might be interesting, or go, no, not happening. I'd like to see more visual impact from company pages. I'd like there to be more of a crossover, I think, between personal profiles and company pages, so that there has, how we've got a featured section in our profiles. I'd quite like to see something like that. Oh, she's nodding. Well, that's positive. I'd like to see something like that on pages, so that we can have that kind of a visual presence. And we can do more things with our profiles. And I saw yesterday that now we're going to be able to put our products, we'll come back to this actually, our products onto our profiles. So there's more and more crossover between the two happening, but I would really like to see more visuals, I have to say. Now, I think though that the things that we need to have on company pages pages are the basics. Michelle, we need to have a link to our website. We need to tell people how they can find us. We need to then put that as an affiliated page back on our profiles in the services section. So there is a lot of crossover between the two, but I do think that the things that you are talking about are really important. And one thing that is disappointing to me, this is a bit of a list really, isn't it, for you to take back to the team. The one thing that disappoints me is that now that we're able to comment as a page, that your headline or your tagline doesn't actually show when you comment. What shows is the number of followers. Now, I get that that's important, but I would really rather it was my tagline, like when I comment as me, my headline shows. So if you could just feed that back to the team, that would be lovely.
Look, and that came up when I recently did a LinkedIn Live with Judy Fox, and she said, Michelle, can you let the team know, we don't want the followers, we want the headlines. So we actually raised it. So you're not alone there. It would make a lot more sense. The number's the number. No one that's looking to follow Good Trading Co. really cares how many page followers I've got. It's what's in it for me? That's the whole of LinkedIn. We're on there. What's in it for me? So I'll be sure to resend that one through. But if you have ideas, say Lynnaire's just, suggestions for improvements, I recommend people go and join the LinkedIn Page Administrators group, which is run by the LinkedIn Pages team. And you can drop it in there as a post, and they're listening and watching. And anyone that is a page administrator has access to that. And it's a really great place to get knowledge. So got a great idea, be part of, building pages. It's really exciting. And the team are listening. I can't tell you how much the LinkedIn Pages and marketing and product team are listening to what's going on the feed. It is crazy. And we're seeing these improvements. So things like the company page, comment as a company page, or the identity switcher, as they call it.
Right.
One of the downfalls of that is that currently you don't get notified if someone responds to your comment. Now they've already heard that, they're working on fixing it. So the evolution is already in play. The other thing that people say is, I can't do it on my mobile. It'd be great if I could do the same thing on my mobile. And I've heard that they're working on that as well. So, don't be afraid to go into that group. It's the place for it. The team welcome ideas. We won't always get it, and it won't always happen tomorrow, but at the rate of new features coming through, it's crazy. It is mind-blowing.
What's the name of it again?
Page Administrators group.
Oh, fantastic. Well, great. Okay, let's all do that. I'm not quite sure I'm even in that group, so I must make sure that I am, Michelle. So thank you for that. All right, now let's move on to how do you build your following on a LinkedIn page? What are your thoughts around that, and have things improved recently?
Well, LinkedIn have heard our LinkedIn prayers, as I say. Yeah. So, one of the things that LinkedIn acknowledged recently, again, on a live that I did with the team, was that they understand that a cold startup, so a brand new page, getting from zero to somewhere where it's effective takes far too long. It's 6 to 12 months. And no business has got that much time to put energy into something you don't get a return. So things like the increase in invite credits, so from 100 to 250. I'm hoping the LinkedIn fairies give that to me soon. I still haven't got it yet. No, I mustn't have done enough good work. Haven't done enough good work for pages yet. I've got to pay my penance. No, like everyone, I'm on the rollout, right? And it comes whenever it comes. But going from 100 to 250, that's 2.5 times the amount of people that you can invite each month strategically. Make sure you're building a really great community, but that again speeds things up. And it can be simple little things like that to grow your page followers. The more times that for me personally, on my personal post, I'm often tagging my company page. Come and follow. Give people a call to action that says, hey, I've got more stuff over here. It's not the people on the platform. It's not your followers. It's not their job to come and find your page. Just like everything, it's your job to direct them, lead them. What will they find there? There's no point growing it if you ignore the page. So your followers are going up and you're giving them nothing. And again, you'll say, pages don't work. Okay, well, what did you put into it? And I'll repeat that probably a number of times today. You've got to put some love into it. So, but yeah, follower growth I think we'll see more tools. I think there will be lots of different ways where this will happen faster, quicker. And I'm excited for that, because another option which hasn't been talked about, and I haven't found anyone that's been able to do it, LinkedIn also have made it so that employees can invite up to 30 people per month to follow the page, and those invite credits aren't part of the normal 250 or 100, depending what you've got.
Good.
So if
Right.
you've got 10 employees and each of them use their 30 every month, then, again, it's more opportunities to grow quicker. So yeah, lots of cool things coming through.
I like that idea, Michelle, because they have a different network than you do as the page owner, right? And so that then gives you more opportunity for that ripple out effect to happen, so that more people are going to be able to have the opportunity to see your pages. But where I thought the problem was going to be was that was taken out of at that stage, it was only 100 invites, but out of the now 250. So the fact that that's going to be separate, then if you've got 10 employees, each having, that's loads more invites to follow pages that you're going to be able to create enormous growth with that kind of number if your team are engaged with LinkedIn as you are, and provided they've got a network of people who are interested. You started out the section by saying that people need to be you need to have the right audience, right? It's not just invite anybody and everybody. You need to have the right people following your page, and I think that that's important. So if your team members are concentrating on inviting the right people to their network, is going to feed into the company, and it's a really good symbiotic relationship, I just thought too. So that does, to me, that makes a lot of sense, and does your message about giving your page some love. Now, I really think this is an important idea. And so, nice, gorgeous. And so a couple of ways that I think that we can do that, and I want to hear from you on this one too. Posting really good, impactful content regularly, and increasing the page follower count so that there are more people following the page, so there's activity on the page, and also holding events. But what else can we do to encourage people? Because it's all about encouragement, right? When you get to the page, you want people to say yes. You've invited someone, so you want them to say yes. So you've got to have some good stuff on the page, and I'd like to hear whether you've got any other ideas of things that we might not yet be doing that we should.
Yeah, look, LinkedIn Lives and LinkedIn Newsletters, two great features over on company pages, which for me personally, you wonder why I invest so much time in it. It's because it helps me build my community faster. It is a great way, both of those tools. Now, they're not right for everyone if you're just starting out. So if you've got a brand new page, it's not the right tool at the beginning. But if you've got one that's going along okay, 500 plus followers, start to explore some of the newer tools that we've been given. So again, I'm with you. It has to be value. So I had someone come to me the other day and they're like, I've heard all this excitement about company pages, but like, oh my God, Michelle, how am I going to get this all done? Like, how am I going to create more content? Like, I'm already doing, and running a business and life, somewhere in there, people have a life, not you and I, but, people.
No.
But, what do you do? So here's my tip for that. You're going to create, it's like the greatest hits library. So take your content that you've already created over on your personal profile, take the greatest hits, your best content that perform the best, and put it over in your library called your company page. So when people come and have a look around, it's like they're just going to go, wow, I don't want to miss this stuff. It also has saved you the time from having to create everything from scratch. You don't need to do that. You're not going to do it on the same day. So it's not a press share or any of those kind of things, not the same day, but, set it for in a month's time or in a couple of weeks' time or next quarter. Depends how much content you're putting out. But again, make the content you're creating go further. None of this create a post that disappears in 48 hours, let's keep creating, because it's exhausting. You will burn out. We all do when we're trying to just do everything from scratch. So time to get smarter. Company pages, think of it, your greatest hits library, and it will change your view of the page. It all of a sudden becomes, well, why wouldn't I want it there if I don't want it to disappear down the feed? So start to think about pages a bit different.
I think that's an excellent idea. It's one that we aren't doing, and I think that we should. One thing we are doing, though, is we're sharing the company page posts over on my profile. And I've been really interested to see how some of them, not all of them, but some of them do really well when I do that. I mean, I add my own comments to it, obviously, when I'm doing that. And so it creates a separate post, but it shows the company page post underneath it. And that's working surprisingly well. And then that gives more airtime, if you like, to the original post. And I'm finding that works quite well. But I think it's really important, and tell me if you think I'm wrong, that when you are posting, that you post really good quality content that people actually want to read.
Oh, 100%. Like, don't treat it as a dumping ground and then go, yeah, I just put something on there because Michelle said post once a week or whatever. If you treat it like that, again, no love in, no love out. That's as simple as it is. So, Lynnaire, like, you have so much great content, and I'm sure that like the long, text only posts that you do take a lot of time to put together because they're so informative. Yeah. So, you can always just grab that, put it back over there, and that might, bring things to life. But people are looking for answers on company pages. They're not there for fun. Company pages are not the place you go to if you want to have a chit chat with a friend that you like, but you go there looking for answers. So think about top 10 frequently asked questions. Think about the biggest challenges that your clients have. Think about things from that perspective. And, it's just a game changer.
The last area that I wanted to ask you about was around some new features, and I've got some questions. This webinar isn't really about actually us helping other people. It's about me. You are getting on a live with you so that you can give me some answers to some pressing questions I've got, Michelle. And because you're the queen of company pages and so in demand, I'm very pleased to have you face to face at least for another 15 minutes, and so I can batter you with these questions. All right.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I think that I've caught up with most of the new features because I keep a sharp eye on your content because it's so good. But what is there that's happened in the last 6 months, 3 months, or whatever, even more recently than that you think on pages that you think people may not yet quite know about that we ought to?
Yeah, so probably the most recent one that people have got a few questions about is the lead gen form, which sits on the company page. And I think it's been rolled out to everybody. So it's another one of those features. It pops up and people go like, what the hell does this thing do? And so what happens is it's not related to ads, but it is related to your page. You get one form that you can set up. So if you go to my Good Trading Co page, and Lynnaire, I think you've got it on your Linkability one. Am I right that you've got a lead gen form set up? Yes, but essentially it will sit on the front page, so in member view. So if you go and have a look at either of our pages, and you'll see I've got a form there that will attract you to, like, it's a sales lead gen form. It doesn't look like a form, just looks like a little banner. Yeah, it looks like a little banner. You get to choose the text that shows up in it, and people can click on that and it will generate a notification to say, hey, by the way, someone's made an inquiry. Now, there's a few things that make it a bit tricky, that the notifications are a bit lumpy and bumpy. They don't show up in activity. And they disappear after 90 days, and you have to download forms from analytics. So for me, that's probably one feature. I like the way it looks on my company page. I think it's a great way that will evolve to generate more leads. That's what the page is there for. We're trying to grow our business. But for anyone that's not sure, just go and have a look at our pages and have a look at the examples. You've got to create something in them that is enticing, that makes people want to press a button, just like everything on LinkedIn. How do we get them to take action? And so think about creating a headline that is, draws people in or lets them know what you offer and make it really clear. So it sits front and center on your company page when members come and have a look. That's why I love it. So I'm going to play around with mine a little bit. But for me personally, the other thing that they've just added into that front and center is the LinkedIn newsletters. So it now sits there and you don't have to go searching for it. And I'm like, yes, thank you. Oh my God. It was so hard before to find company page newsletters, and now it sits there prime position. So I'm going to take credit for that feedback. I was part of the testing and I was like, it's too hard to find them. I'm putting all this effort in. And again, go into company pages newsletters, just like your personal, because they're getting indexed by Google. So you'll get found off the platform. So that's another reason, Michelle, why are you spending all this time doing long form this year? Like, it takes so much time. Easy, because it lasts forever. It doesn't disappear. And so that's why I'm putting way more effort into those kind of things. And LinkedIn have told us, based on their thought leadership report, the Edelman report last year, that buyers want more valued information. They have literally spent, I don't know how much money they spent on this report to say, wow, buyers want value. Like,
Oh,
I could have
really?
saved them some money. But when you look at the stats, you just see, like, my bugbear is I research when I want to buy something. I jump onto Google like everybody else, and I type in my question, and I just get blogs that are the same across everybody's website. SEO blogs, lots of keywords, but they're the same. There's no real differing point of view. So, be authentic, embrace you and your personal views and experience, and give it to us real, like, not just this same, like, it's time to be different.
You mentioned newsletters in that, and I'll just remind people that at the beginning that I said that 28 million members have subscribed to newsletters for pages. We have a newsletter on our page. It was very glitchy to begin with, and it eventually got itself sorted out. And I've been very pleased with the response to the newsletter on my page, Michelle, and I think they are an absolutely fantastic way of doing that long form content that people seem to love. Now, I've got a question around this for you, though. I treat, because I'm a little older, I tend to treat my newsletter in the old-fashioned way. So I have multiple different things in a newsletter. I don't treat my newsletter, either my one from my page or my personal one, as an article. If I want to write a long-form article, I write a long-form article. But my newsletter, it has got a variety of different shorter pieces in it, and it has things in it like hold the front page, news, actual news, events, things that are going on, right? And so consequently, I see that there's this very big difference between how I treat a newsletter and how I see other people writing articles as newsletters. Now, I'm not trying to say that I think that one is right and one is wrong, but I'm really interested in this trend of people using their newsletter format, if you like, or the reach from their newsletter to write articles.
Yeah, look, there's two ways that you can go about it. And ultimately, it comes down to what works for your audience and what works for you. Because if you enjoy it, it's going to resonate with the people that are reading it, like, because they will know you for the kind of content that you put out. Like, that's why they're following you and your page. So, two things to that. What's the difference between an article and a newsletter? Might be a place to start. So, in theory, on LinkedIn, you create both pretty much exactly the same. They look the same features. I love the new features that we can tag people and use hashtags in these articles and newsletters now. I can use the hashtags. I haven't found an opportunity to put the @ and tag people, but that will be amazing. You will get more reach. The difference being, one builds up subscribers. So when you put content out on your newsletter, everybody gets notified that's a subscriber. On an article, it will be treated like a normal post and go to a small percentage. If I was going to do an article, I don't think anymore that I would bother with articles. I would do it on a newsletter just because I know it will reach more people. Would it possibly be a bit confusing for people who expect it to come in one way and it comes in another? Maybe. It's not something that I've played around with just yet. But from my perspective, if we're going for reach, trying to get my content to see more eyes, it would be the newsletter would be where I would focus. But from that perspective, they're both getting indexed by Google for the most part, so there's no difference on that side of things. So for me personally, I think newsletters, when I first started trialing them as part of like the alpha testing, my first newsletters versus what I'm doing now, I think I'm up to about my 7th one or something for my company page. They're different because I realize, that doesn't work. I don't like that. I want to repurpose other things. Again, you'll hear me use the words repurpose a lot. It's just about how do you get more bang for buck for the content that you create, and newsletters are perfect for it. I love them. I think we'll see more features that will really help us get them out there. And the Pages team recently did a questionnaire to ask people, what's your feedback? What would you like to see? And I just noticed I can now go in and click on the number of followers and see who's actually subscribed to my newsletter. Now, I couldn't see that before. John Asberian tells me he could see it back in the beginning. I couldn't. So now if you click on the subscriber number for the newsletter, go in and connect to all of your second and third degree connections. You know, I've got a job to do over the next few days because these people like my content, they like my company page, and it happens on personal profiles as well. But I was excited because I was like, what's the point in putting it out there if I don't know who's out there? So,
that's an excellent idea. So just to repeat that, have a look at the followers on your newsletter and to get anybody who's not already connected to you to connect. I think that's brilliant. Yes. All right.
That's what I'm here
I've
for.
got a couple more things I want to talk about. The first is product pages. Now starting to roll out, and I've applied for one, and it has been 2.5 weeks since I filled in the form and did all the bits and pieces. And every time I check, it's just still in review. How long are these taking? And am I dreaming if I think that LinkedIn is actually going to let me have one?
No, I don't think you're dreaming. So here's the process. So product pages were historically only for digital products, so software as a service typically. Now they've moved it out into lots of other different industries, and I've got it from one of my products. I found the whole process pretty clunky. I found that it was, you know, square peg round hole, trying to get my stuff to fit into what would make sense for a digital product. It was there was a few fields I was like going, yeah, this doesn't work, and I just made stuff up. I just, to get past the form, I just literally went, I don't know, just make it go away. So I wouldn't say it's the world's greatest. For the clients that I've done it for, it did take like weeks and weeks and weeks to get approved, and I think that's disappointing. The other thing that I would say is, once it gets approved, for my client that I did it for, we didn't get notified that it had been approved. So it was not there, not there, not there. And then there's a button that you have to press that says, basically, I can't remember the button, but it's like, let's call it publish for because I don't remember the name. But basically, after they approve it, you have to press another button that makes it pop up. So, and again, a long-winded, stupid process that LinkedIn, if you're listening into this one, this process has got to get smoother. It's just painful. I love it. Back to your point earlier, you want more, you know, like a featured section or more images. Product pages, the layout on them is spectacular. I love them for that. You know, because they really, and Canva is like a product page that you can go and have a look at, but you've got like featured section. You've got you've got who your product is best for. So you can actually say, hey, if you're a marketing manager, if you're a digital agency, if you're a page administrator, or whatever the titles are, but you can actually say who it's best for. You can get recommendations from other people that back that up. So social proof. So it looks great, but the process, I'm not going to lie, I'm not a fan, and I'm certainly going to be feeding that back. That it will get better. I have no doubt they'll smooth it out. It's just at this point, it's not so great. So keep an eye out, go in and check, and then it might be approved, but you have to press like, let's call it the publish button to make sure
check it again. Live. I haven't looked at it today, I must confess. Also, I found out yesterday that you're going to be able to add your products to your profile. What can you tell us about that in the actual experience section of your profile? If you've got a products page and you're experienced in it, presumably. It sounds again like software, if you ask me, but you'll be able to add it to your experience section. What do you know about that?
So you can do that right now as of today, and it doesn't have to be your product. The good part is, so let's go back to Canva as an example. I'm pretty sure that you can go onto the Canva product page and it will say add as a skill, and you can press a button and it will add it as a skill into, I don't know if it goes per job or just in general. I haven't played around with it a lot, but it's available now. For me personally, I would love to do it. So anyone that does like the training programs, I would love to set up, you know, a product page for each of those training programs, so that when you did it, you could say, yep, I've done that, and it shows up on people's profiles. Again, I think it's probably a bit early for the early stages of this rollout, and it just feels a bit messy, but hang in there. It's all positive. Right. Future's positive. Future's positive. It's just not now.
Not my great strength. All right. Now, the final question I've got is, I want to know what you can tell me about this new format. This is not really just a company page question, really. I've found out just this week about this new format that's going to allow us to be able to put together really sophisticated, I suppose is how you would describe them, carousels. So they'll have video and images and graphics and GIFs, and things will move, and there'll be music and all kinds of wonderful wonderful stuff, way outside my ability to put anything together like that. But I haven't seen any real, well, I've only seen a couple of examples of them, and not really overwhelmed at this point. What about? I can't remember. Is it called a carousel? It is, isn't it?
Slideshare, yeah. So from what I can understand, it's going to be a lot similar to like a PowerPoint or something where you can have different slides, add in videos, add in music, add in text. I think for creative people, and I think, earlier in the comments, I saw that Ilya's here. So for people who are really creative and creating videos and they've got text overlays and music and all that kind of stuff, I think it will give them another tool that you can do it within LinkedIn. So where I think it will come in handy is one of the things that can be frustrating for people is when you add images or photos into your post and they go in these random orders, you'll be able to order them now. So, and I know it sounds like a little thing, but if you want your photos to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not just whatever order LinkedIn picks, because there doesn't seem to be a rhyme or a reason, this will take care of that. So I think for me, I like that it's more creativity tools, even though I'm not the creative person. And I know you and I, we love words. We love words, and anything about design just makes my head spin. But I'm really excited for how that might play out for other people who are creative and their preference is to create things and rather than words. And I think it will give them more options. So I actually, to this point, really weirdly, a couple of days ago, my feed had no long form text, only posts in it. So as far as the eye could see on my mobile and my desktop, I only had image and text posts, like as far as I could go. So I think it'll be interesting just to see what LinkedIn pushes, what changes. They're always playing around with things. I don't get too obsessed with it. I'll leave that up to Richard and his team. But for me personally, I think they're just playing around with different things as always. One thing that popped up on the top of somebody's feed, thank you to everyone that always notices new company page features and reaches out and lets me know. But Michael sent me a screenshot that at the top of his home feed was a note that said, "Here's 3 pages. Would you like to follow them?" And so there was a real follow button. So helping pages get in front. So we've complained that they're not in the feed, but being able to get visibility. So I was really excited to see that. So
that's part of that help drive discoverability that LinkedIn was mentioning in that quote at the beginning. That makes a lot of sense. So look, it's all so exciting, Michelle. Honestly, I love LinkedIn. I can't wait to wake up in the morning and see what's new. And at the end of each quarter, like we are at the moment, there's almost something new every day. And a bit like you, makes my head spin, in terms of the design stuff. But I just absolutely love it. All right, so you've answered the questions that I really got you here for. Now let's hear from a couple of people who've asked some questions. And Christopher Johnston, no relation, but hello, Christopher, and thanks for joining us. It says, once audio is rolled out, and we haven't talked about audio, will there be an audio tab on company pages, Michelle? Oh, exciting.
I haven't heard about an audio tab. I think that would be amazing that things just don't keep disappearing with audio. I think that's one of the problems that we have at the moment is that there's no recording function within LinkedIn. I know people have found workarounds. An audio tab, look, I'll keep my fingers crossed on that one. I haven't heard anything. The only other thing that's kind of related to that, the bell feature, some people have asked, will bells go onto company pages? I think the answer will be yes on that because I've seen it on the LinkedIn pages page. They do have the bell feature. So more crossing because, if you haven't rang the bells on Lynnaire's profile or my profile, go and do that. So I think it's all working fine now. So, I was a bit reluctant early on to tell people to follow it and then they miss out on stuff. So, but it seems to be working and I hope company pages get it soon as well.
Fantastic. Rightio, Gabriella, is there a way of finding out what trends your followers interact with? That's an interesting one. We could probably talk for an hour about this one, I would imagine. Michelle, what do you think about this?
Look, I think you've just got to get involved in conversations, with your community and watch what content other people are putting out there. And that can be pages that are industry leading. So it doesn't have to be the 25 million followers. It can be the smaller ones. There's websites off LinkedIn where you can listen in, to what questions people are asking and drive content around that. But within LinkedIn, I think it's just that social listening. Get involved in conversations. There's nothing more exciting to it, but start seeing in comments what other feedback people are coming through. And the more that you teach the home feed by, muting people or, saying you don't want to see particular kinds of content. So those 3 little dots in the top right-hand corner of every post give you the opportunity to say, don't show me this anymore. And the more that you do that, the more you'll see the things that are of interest. And I think that's another easy way that you can do it within LinkedIn.
All right. Debbie's asked, how do we add our newsletter to our page? That's probably through articles. Write an article. Am I right? You set it up through write an article. That's how I set mine up.
Yeah. So for some people on your page admin view of your company page, what happens is down on the bottom right-hand side, about 3/4 of the way down the screen, you'll see add newsletter. Now, there was a bit of a glitch where you could add it, but for some people it would just come up and it was still an article. If it doesn't give you the menu to create a newsletter after you press that, then the glitch is still there, but I haven't heard anyone say that they've still got it. So the other way that Lynnaire said, press write article, and it will pop up that way and ask you, do you want to create a newsletter? So to the best of my knowledge, most people should have the option available to them now. It's been rolled out pretty widely, if not to everyone, pretty close to it. And again, the great part is now it automatically shows on that front page in member view, so other people will see it. Now, remember, the first one you send out goes to all of your page followers, so make it count. Like if you are going to put extra effort in, that first one to get subscribers on is the golden one. You only get one chance, so don't use it when you've only got 50 page followers. Such a waste. Wait till you build up your followers a little bit more.
And my advice on that one is to make sure the name is a really good one, that it tells people exactly what it's going to be about, so that they know what they're going to get and they want to click subscribe. So I've subscribed to a lot, but I'm very narrow in my choices on them. And I think that's partly because I'm not interested in anything and everything. I'm interested in learning about some specific things, mainly LinkedIn. And so those are the ones that I always say yes to, and the others, depending on how well I know the actual person. And so you don't have much of an opportunity to be able to promote your newsletter, so make sure that you do it in the name.
One final thing, don't delete your newsletter. Once you delete it, you don't get a second go at this point in time.
Really?
And at best you have to wait 6 months. So be careful about what you want to do. You can change names, you can change logos, you can change descriptions, but if you press that delete button, there is nothing that anyone can do to help you. Don't message me and say, Michelle, I can't get it back. It's just gone, and you'll lose that opportunity. So just one last thing to add into that.
All right, and one last question, and this looks to be a bit more general than just about pages. Mark Engst is asking, how do you hunt professional skills from your contacts? Now, I'm not entirely sure what Mark means by this, but you might have a better idea, Michelle. What do you think hunting professional skills from your contacts means?
I'm wondering,
maybe searching. Do you think he means searching?
Yeah, or maybe you're looking to you need someone with particular services. Maybe that's it. I'm not sure, Mark. Maybe you can put some extra detail down in the comments so that we can answer that best, because how do I do it? I ask friends, like if I see that someone else is connected, or I ask them, who are you connected to that you would refer me to? So, that's how I go around it. But, search bar might be another more obvious answer, but yeah, a bit more detail might help out with that one.
Okay, we have got a couple more questions that I missed up here. What do you do when you want a company presence, but the company is not actively seeking business? Why would a company not actively seek business, do you think?
Oh, look, I've come across that where some people are at capacity. They're very happy with how things are. And that's great. But I think the last 2 years have shown us that things can happen way out of our control at any minute in time. And so recession's a word that's thrown around all around the world right about now. So now is the time, before we end up in trouble, to make sure that you just keep that presence there. Your presence might be just adding value, staying top of mind. we never know what's around the corner. So future-proof your business by building a following. Whoever gets out there first and owns the space in business will be the industry leader, and you will have a hard time catching up. So love that things are going great, but none of us have got any, as much as we all try, we don't have any proof that life will continue that way, especially as we head into some pretty crazy times.
Yeah, well, that is for sure. It has been a difficult 2.5 years, there's no question, and it doesn't seem to be showing any signs of being over yet, unfortunately. Mark has responded, and he is talking about services, hunting services from contacts. So I wonder whether Mark means in the services section of people's profiles, and if you've got your services in your services section, then they will follow you around LinkedIn. So it's always a good idea to have that section all filled out and complete so that people can do that. Have you got any comments around that one, Michelle? The original question was, how do you search for professional skills from your contacts?
Yeah, look, the search bar is your friend. It's so obvious and so underutilized and it has so many filters now, including the services pages, that you can jump in there and look for whoever you want in whichever location, by whichever industry, and really use those filters, because they will show you people, really narrow it down for you. The better you get at searching on LinkedIn, the more powerful it is. And that could also be using hashtags related to those services. There might be people, for instance, if you're looking for company page experts, you might type in hashtag company page and hopefully Lynnaire and I pop up. So, and that's the plan. So I really hope so. Otherwise I quit, right?
All right. And our fabulous videographer, Wayne Alexander, wants to know whether newsletters are going to be the death of articles. Oh, I hope not. I really hope not, because I like to have articles as a separate thing from my newsletter, but that's because I treat my newsletter like a newsletter rather than an article, which I admit seems to be in the minority view.
Will it be the death? For me personally, it is, only not because, they're same. There's no difference between them. But when it comes to how far will my message go, if I'm going to put that much effort in, I will probably do it on a newsletter, just because it will go to different people. Does that mean I change my style a little bit? Absolutely. So from that perspective, I don't think they'll disappear completely, but maybe we'll use them a little differently.
So a lovely testimonial down there from Debbie. Thank you so very much indeed. And look, to be honest, I could sit here and talk to Michelle all afternoon, but you'll probably have other things that you need to do. And I know Michelle does. She really isn't here just for my own edification, despite my joking about that. She is here because she and I have together created this wonderful book, Business Gold, and you absolutely need to have a copy of it. Look, it's not other way. It's not terribly long, but it has been universally. We've had some fabulous reviews about it from people who are from LinkedIn experts to people who are setting up company pages and really starting from scratch. And it is the Bible. It's the world's first book on LinkedIn company pages. It is the best book in the world about LinkedIn company pages, and we're certainly thrilled with the reception that it has received. So if you don't yet have your copy, either a printed version or the digital, then you should pop over to the link that's on the screen now and make sure that you grab a copy. So Michelle, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. It won't be 6 months before we do this again, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on my LinkedIn feed all the time. Continue as you do. Yes, you've got some fabulous content. It is like a Bible, and if I just need to repeat myself to say that if you don't yet follow Michelle, please do, and make sure that you follow her company page as well. Of course, it'd be nice if you followed ours too. But thank you so very much for being with us again today. We really look forward to welcoming you back to Linkability.
I couldn't be anywhere else. And if anyone wants to know, next week, I think it's next week, I'm doing a deep dive into all of the new features. So a LinkedIn Live. I know we got to talk about things high level here today. And so if you want to come and learn all the new features and how I think they'll work best. I'm going to share that next week. So hope, this audience can come
Michelle,
and join us.
which day is that going to be on?
Knew you were going to ask me that. I will jump through and put that through in the chat. I think it's next Tuesday night, my time, to try and pick up my US and European friends. I think it might be past your bedtime, Lynnaire, so I am yet to find a time zone that works best for everyone. So from that perspective, but yeah, there's just so many new features. That's why Lynnaire and I are so excited. Make sure that you go back and catch this replay, and yeah, hopefully you guys can come and join me next week, and I'll do that deep dive because there's a lot. There is so much going on.
Well, we really appreciate you spending time with us today, Michelle. Thank you very much indeed. And we are now going to leave you today, but I'm just going to remind you that we will be back next month to be able to talk about LinkedIn content. We get a lot of questions about content on LinkedIn, and so we're going to do a deep dive in our next Linkability webinar here as a LinkedIn Live in July. So thank you so very much for joining us today, whether you've been here live at the event or you are watching this on replay. We are very happy to have had you with us, and we will see you on the next one. Bye for now.